Oh, we're gonna use this. This is it.
You gotta restart it though. You're gonna say it again. I cut it.
Why?
I started in the middle.
Why did you stop it? Start it right now. Record now.
We're recording.
Okay. Hey guys, happy Friday. Welcome to Cups of Crazy. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Lee. Welcome back.
These are our cool cups that we have today. I need coffee right now.
Mine is just a Leo mug. Target.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So today, do you want to start with the boxes?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, you take it.
Nope, you do it.
Now we have to cut that out. Okay.
No, we don't.
Yes. 3.
This is who we are. See? Go ahead.
So we have been working on, still kind of in the early stages, but we're getting there. We are going to start creating self-care boxes. Have a little bit of Cups of Crazy in your life.
Yeah, we can make customized boxes. Not the actual box will always be the same. Like it'll have our logo. It might change when we do different months and things like that. But yeah, we can definitely do like color schemes or themes that you like. If you're, I made my mom a box for her birthday and it was like a garden box and it looked like a mini garden and it was really, really cute. I might put pictures of that up on our website just so you can kind of see the idea that we're trying to do. But to start with, we want to do a raffle. Just to kind of see how people react to the box, and the raffle will work like this. It'll be $1 to enter. You can enter in as many times as you want. It'll be a completely random winner. We're going to do 1, maybe 2 for the first time just to kind of see how it goes. Now's the time to do it since we're still growing. You have a bigger chance of winning, and we'll also sell the boxes regularly as well. And with the raffles that we do once a month and the boxes that we sell, we will be donating a portion of the proceeds to the National Alliance of Mental Health. We're actually going back and forth with them in emails. That way we can kind of partner up with them and have them on our website and on our page that, we are with them, because we do want to help people. And, if we can donate a portion of proceeds to a better cause like that for what we're doing, then that's what the hell we're going to do.
Yeah, it's very important, I think, just because it's the point that we decided to do this, to kind of get it out there. It's, therapy in a sense for us, but it's also, putting it out there more. There's, like I said before, there's a stigma. We want to kind of break that. And, it's important to kind of give back to make sure that people like us or people that don't have the means to get help are able to some way or another.
Get it. Exactly. Like, I've been, excuse me, I've been blessed because I've been furloughed this whole time, but I still was able to receive my medical insurance, which a lot of people don't have, but I was laid off this week. So now I'm going to be struggling like everybody else to try to find, reasonable mental health care. It is expensive. My medication is expensive. I had to stop taking my depression medication because I know that I won't be able to refill it. And if anybody has taken antidepressants, you know that you can't just stop. So, I had to wean off of those before I finished the whole month because I know that I won't be able to get them. So my serotonin levels are going to be doing me great the next couple weeks. But yeah, when you donate to them, they give, opportunities for people who don't or can't receive mental health care. Like they give you that opportunity. So check them out. Also, we were thinking about doing a Cups of Crazy after dark. It might just be podcast. Lee knows that I like the videos just because I think when people can see us being, funny or whatever, it's, it's different to see us just versus when you hear us, and especially after dark one. So we kind of wanted to know your thoughts on that one. We're still working on topics, but obviously they'd be topics that aren't always mental health related and just a little bit more uncensored, if you could imagine.
And more, real life day-to-day type of stuff going on.
Right.
So it won't be heavily about mental health.
Mental
I mean,
health.
that naturally is going to stream through anything that we do, if we're
Right.
being honest. But
a lot of sexual innuendos, probably just because of my sense of humor. And, but I think it'll be fun.
yeah,
And the best I can relate it to is the one episode we did where everything went wrong and we just started, drinking that Friday night.
yeah, it was
And
great.
that episode is still my favorite. That's the trunk episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Forever. Well, I don't think any other episode will ever trump it, just because
it was just so
raw.
real. Because when we post our stuff, I on our social media, I always try to find like a funny clip, but that's talking about something relative. And that episode, it was so easy to try to find one because we were laughing the whole time. Whereas, we are funny and we want to be funny, but time and place and the things that we're talking about, we can't always be funny. And, even if we're using like coping mechanisms or defense mechanisms. But that's another thing that we're definitely going to do that. But topics that you guys want to talk about, dating, whatever, you just let us know and let us know your thoughts on that. And yeah, we're gonna be doing that soon, so I can't wait for that. I'm excited about all of it. So into today, what's today's topic?
So today is going to be self-esteem, hashtag lack of. But super quick, I wanted to tell you something funny that happened just before we started this. So, and this is totally off topic, but you ever realize certain things that you think about like end up happening? So there's someone,
like you bring things to fruition.
Yeah, but it's never like the things that will actually make a difference in your life or help you. But I have been there was someone that I used to know, like, I don't know, maybe like 7, 8, 9 years ago, very briefly. And they ended up being a friend of someone that, or no, not a friend, a family member of someone that I knew like a long time ago. Okay. So for some weird reason, I couldn't think of their last name, and it was driving me nuts because, like I said, I was friends with the cousin, and then I met this other person. So I'm like, what the fuck was the last name? Racking my brains out for like 2 weeks now, right? Bro. Okay. They started following my blog. What? How random is that? It's so random.
I don't believe in coincidences. So it's because you were putting it out there.
I know, but I wasn't even trying to. It was like, I was like, man,
point. Your thoughts become things.
It's like, I wonder what happened to him. And it's just like so bizarre to me. And we'll have to take that offline. But yeah, it was just really weird. Like
it was great.
I have so many things that I feel like I put out there, and this one thing that was just, you know what I mean? When you're like, damn, I just want to know so I can like just be done with it, because it was driving me freaking nuts. And I woke up to that and I was like, well, what are the fucking odds? But like, why? Why can't I always ask for money to like come out of nowhere? Why doesn't that happen? Or, there's a lot of things I ask for that just don't happen.
You need to just fucking always have my notebooks here, because speaking of what you're talking about, I was looking for I was looking through emails and notebooks and journals trying to find the day. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about when I say that, like a year and a half ago, right?
Yeah.
The one I'm going to do the video on. And I couldn't find it, and it was pissing me off so bad because I couldn't find the exact date. You know what I mean? And then eventually, after hours and hours, I went through and remembered that the after effects of that night, I ended up having a like psychotic break, literally. And the way my phone is, it's touchscreen, so I don't have it set up for Face ID. So it's like if you just press it too much, it disables. and I had to disable, and it ended up being so disabled that the only way you could fix it is restore it and try to back it back up. So I just looked, after finally realizing that, I just looked, in January, because I knew that's when it happened, of 2019, and looked for the Apple support. Thank you for contacting Apple support. So it's kind of how I figured it out. What was the point of that? Anyway, so I was looking through these notebooks, and I found, from 2013, 14, all these journal entries that I did, once per notebook. And and I found all these things that was like basically saying like, I can, anytime I'm worried about money or whatever, like it always comes, like the business cards, the designs or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, but why is it that all the things that I bring to fruition are never good for me? Like, I want to whatever with that guy, and then all of a sudden, like, they start talking to me or something. You know what I mean? It's just like, why can't we bring the good fruition things? And then, breaking news, the National Alliance for Mental Illness just emailed us, and we are officially partnered with them.
What? That's awesome.
Yep. So we just, we'll let you guys know how much we donate, or how much we've helped them every month when we do that. And and they said our dedication and what we're doing means so much to them, and thank you so much.
Awesome. Yay. See?
Yep. So now officially.
Yeah.
So yeah, my PR. I don't know why I went to college for psychology.
Seriously. Well, I think it's important to have a background in psychology, do PR, because you have to know how other people are gonna, respond to certain things. So it is, it's so weird that you just said that. In my story I'm writing right now, the girl went to school for psychology and got her degree and everything. But currently she's doing PR and marketing type stuff. Waiting about me? It's so weird. See what I mean? Like, I wrote this and then you're like, bam. And it's like, I just want money. Like, why is that?
Well, the thing
it's all these random things.
The thing is, like, and this can even tie into self-esteem. Like, I've done those things before. Like, you've been down here, you've been in Florida, and like when you go to like certain restaurants, it's like ticket booths and stuff. Like, oh, come here, see the tour of the resort, and you get free like Universal tickets or whatever the case is. And I could never do that job, even though I always felt like I could sell like a ketchup popsicle to a lady in white gloves. You know what I mean? But it's like, if I don't believe in it, I can't do it. So for us, like stepping out of my comfort zone, which is extreme for me, I'm doing it because this is so important. Like, for example, for anybody who follows any of our social media, shout out to Blue the Unicorn and Jay Why Not. She has 60,000 followers and she only follows 300 people, and we're one of them. And they both shouted us out, and we're just really trying to get it out there. So sometimes I get nervous, but stepping outside of your comfort zone is eventually how you're going to find the success that you want. And that's not monetary, that's an internal thing. The way I'm talking about it. But had my self-esteem been like a little bit lower, I might not, because I might feel like, well, they don't care about what I have to say, and maybe they don't, but it worked out in my favor this time. So.
And that's why you take care of it. I can't sell shit. I remember for like 2 weeks, I took this job, one of those jobs like, oh, make this much a day, blah, blah, blah. Well, I've stepped into that pile of shit twice, not once, twice. The first time was selling really crappy votive candles, and they didn't smell good. They were supposedly scented. That's why I had said that yesterday. So it was walking around, I want to say it was like in Dedham, Mass, walking up and down this street, and we would go into these shops, and the people would say, no, go. And I would just turn around and go. And the guy that was with me, he's like, no, you got to like talk. I'm like, no, they said no. Like, I'm walking away.
What? I don't want to, that's the thing. It's like, I don't want to pressure people for something that they don't want to do. I don't want to come off as like aggressive, like for timeshares or candles or whatever.
Or
but
knives.
With this,
knives, that was the second one.
Oh, the one that cuts anything? Guess
Not
he
even.
doesn't belong with a set of those. um, so, but with this though, for me, it's easier because I really believe in what we're doing.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, like this isn't, you know, just like the like the meme I sent you about the ADHD kids or the academically gifted children.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a meme that said, as a child, I mean, I don't know how that works as an adult, but I was extremely gifted academically as a child. And there was a meme that was basically like, if you were academically gifted as a child, you either like hate yourself because you can't finish projects and you spiral into low self-esteem because, you know, you can't finish hobbies and or you're a doctor and there's no in between. And I totally, well, I'm not a doctor, so. But this like isn't like a hobby to me. Like this is it's like an internship right now because we're not getting paid, but you know,
it's a
and
passion.
it's not about money for us, but you know, it's who doesn't have the dream of doing what they love and making money for it and helping people. I mean, it's just like a win-win-win.
Yeah.
So let's get into self-esteem.
So,
all right,
what is self-esteem? Let's find out.
I can tell you what low self-esteem is.
I can too. That's why we're doing this.
Okay,
we're gonna try and learn. So, you know, self-esteem is basically, you know, described as how you appraise your worth. Consider yourself like real estate. What do you think you are worth, and how do you put that out there? So if you have low self-esteem, you have a low self-appraisal.
Right.
It's not that I have low self-esteem in that sense though. Like I know what I'm worth in a sense and what I deserve. My low self-esteem is more on the physical side for me.
Right. And I'm opposite now. Yeah. I used to be all around everything, but now, like myself, I will never forget the first time I even found out about self-esteem. I was in New Bedford at J.A. Parker, and I was wearing, I think I told you this, it was the picture day where I wanted to dress like you. Oh, yeah. So I had this whatever shirt that I cut, so it was like a crop with a flannel over it, and my favorite white 4 button-up shorts. Oh my god, they were my favorite. And I felt too cute. And this kid Justin, who I called Frankenstein because his forehead was like, you know, real square, and he decided to tell me that I looked chubby in my shorts. And ever since then, that was the first time that I was like body conscious, and it didn't stop until this year. And then another thing with, you know, physical is how you grow up. My mom always was worried about her weight. Like, I need to do this diet. I need to do that diet. But her mother did it. So naturally, she does it. I mean, for God's sakes, if I leave her alone with AJ for too long, like, he's like, Mom, how many calories are in this? I'm like, oh my God. Like, you are athletic and, you know, and so your genes from your dad's side are fantastic. Like, you're perfect. You know what I mean? But because he's heard me and my mom talk about it for all these years, you know, but he's fine because I tell him obviously how handsome he is every day and things like that. But you know, my self-esteem issue is more with mental, I'd say. You know what I mean? Like not feeling good enough, not feeling worth it. You know what I mean? Especially over the past week, man. It's been a rough fucking week.
Yeah, no, that's kind of what I mean though. Like I know it's so weird. It almost sounds like it's contradicting, but I know what I deserve no matter what. However, the mental part of it is some days I'm very outward with that. And it's like, you know what? I don't deserve to deal with this shit. Other days it's more of I'm not like this person. I don't look like this person. So even though I know I deserve something special and like, you know, whatever, I won't be able to get that because I don't look like this person. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mine is more of a I compare myself so much to the point that it can drop me so hard for days. And this happened the other day when I mentioned something to you. We don't have to say it on here, but I mentioned something to you, and that like fucking dropped me. Like something as small as that, but then other days I'm totally fine. But that's when like that's why my self-esteem is usually very low. Even though I have a high self-worth, I will always feel like I deserve respect and honesty and trust and all those things.
Your efficacy is so high that
right.
Like,
but then,
like your esteem sometimes.
Right. My that's part of the VPD though. You know what I mean? It's how I view myself, which leads to like sabotaging and whatnot. But so low self-esteem is like tricky for me because it's almost like I force it on myself.
Can I teach you a trick?
Oh, sure.
So, yeah. So, years ago when I first watched The Secret and started getting into like, you know, all that positivity, you know, glitter, rainbows and all that good stuff.
Hoorah. I don't know why I just did that. Sorry. It's like a Marine thing.
It's okay. You've never even done like any type of Marine practice, have you?
No, I learned it from Gibbs.
Oh, obviously, right. Okay. So I would talk to my good friend Zella all the time about it because to me, she has the perfect body. She's like 5'8", long torso, upper body, and then just like hips and ass for days, right? But she hates her legs because she has what she says they're manly legs or whatever, where she loves my legs and she likes my, you know what I mean? So you just don't know. And then when you're comparing yourself to other people, I mean, like my self-esteem in that way can be low, as in like, sorry Zella if you're listening, but when I was gonna get married, I got self-conscious of her being my bridesmaid standing like 2 people behind me because she's so pretty. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But outside of friends and people, you know, like, you know, when you see people in the street, you know, girls or whatever, and you're just like, you know, well, you probably think like, exactly. Why are you so genetically fortunate? Right. And but so what? That, well, instead of saying ugly, you say genetically unfortunate. So what I started doing was just like saying like, you know, wow, she's pretty, and in a fucked up way to make myself feel better, I'd be like, this is probably not as funny as me, so whatever. You know?
Yeah.
But that's how I used to do things. You know, you just have to realize like, just because they're pretty doesn't mean they're happy.
Right.
Looks are just only outside. You know what I mean? So
yeah, but the struggle with that is, especially like real. With social media, all you see is the look. It doesn't matter, you know? So it's like that to me is very difficult because they could, you know, be like the worst person in the world. Doesn't matter. Guys still want to look at something like that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I struggle with that really bad. Even though
it's rough.
They're better, I at the same time like, well, what, you know, in a sense, what's the word? What what's the point?
I love you.
In trying to go for someone that views me the way sometimes I view myself, if there's always going to be people like that, you know, will always be chosen.
Pretty people are never going to go away.
Right. And that's my thing. Like, there's always going to be someone unfortunate looking or more fortunate looking than me.
Right.
And so it's like, I don't want to have to bother to care about it. You know what I mean? And the only way it can is just alone. VPD.
Right. And on the other side of that, though, a lot of people who are very attractive, like, you know, just if you have listened to celebrities or just people I know who are, you know, very blessed, like just beautiful people, sometimes they don't like it because then they know that that's the only reason they're being talked to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't like the attention all the time. Whereas, other people think that that's what they want, but you don't really know if that's what you want. I don't like being looked at. I hate when people look at me. Anytime I dated someone, if they're staring at me, like, and I can feel it, I'd be like, what?
Yeah.
And like, can I stare at you? And
same.
I'm like, no, you can't.
Yeah. Stop. Bad
Don't
angle.
Yeah. Right. Like, I don't know what you're seeing.
Yeah.
Put a camera up so I can see what you're seeing. So we
yeah.
talk about like positive self-confidence. All right.
Well, it's good to be honest first though, before getting into this.
No,
of how we view
we
it.
want to, that's how the struggle, like I've been struggling with since I was 8 years old. And so it is important, but we want to try to be better. So confident people, which goes with self-esteem, can be defined as the trust that you have in yourself. So like, do you trust yourself enough to be confident in your looks or in the way you drive or whatever the case may be? And as far as confidence goes, is there a time, and anybody please write us your responses, to these questions. Is there a time in your past in which you did not trust yourself? And is there a time in your past which you did trust yourself? Describe it, and then, what were the reasons behind it? Like, so we can go with, you know what? I'm sure we have plenty of stories about how we didn't trust ourselves.
Yeah.
Let's talk about a time and maybe which we did trust ourselves. I'm sorry, my ass hurts. This is a hard surface. That's what she said. I'll go first. I'll let you think. Now, just because you trusted yourself doesn't mean it turned out right.
Yeah.
like, let's get that. But if we want to go for a good example, mine would be, I have a real problem with like letting other people's opinions influence how I do things or say things. And a time that I trusted myself was when I reported my ex for domestic abuse, and packed all my stuff that day. And by the time he got off of work, all my stuff was gone, and he was arrested the next day. The day that I stepped in, the next day, like that I stepped into the house that was now me and AJ's, like this huge house just for me and him, it was crazy, but I trusted myself and knew that I had to do this step of reporting him and moving, to be done with it, to be done with the cycle, because I knew that I deserved better, because I didn't value myself or love myself enough to leave sooner when I should have left way before. And that actually worked out for the best for me. It was, nobody believed me. Nobody believed that I was going to not go back to him. And you know what I mean? And except my best friend, one of my best friends, Charlie, she was like, I know you're done. I know. And she's like, I believe you if nobody else does. And that was, the one time when I remember sitting in the police parking lot, like, is this what I want to do? With like, bruises on my neck. You know what I mean? Like, and I was like, yeah, you got to do it. And I was waiting for an officer to come out after you go to reception. And I was walking out because I changed my mind, and he called me and I had to turn around. I was like, I think I changed my mind. He's like, I can see your neck. Get in here. I was like,
oh, wow.
Yeah. And they like body cam recorded it, and it was a mess, which is why I never went to trial, because they wanted to show all that footage, which would have been fine for factual reasons. But like, I mean, I was just hysterical, and I don't want 12 people and people behind me, I don't know, making me explain my story and everything like that. And that was hard to recover from, as far as self-esteem and confidence and, self-worth and your efficacy. And it just, it's a long process to get there, especially after a situation like that. But even if you didn't experience a situation like that, learning how to get self-esteem and be more confident is hard for some people. For me, anyway. What about you? Trust or not trust?
I don't really know. I'm gonna be honest. I guess the one thing that jumps out rummaging through all my memories of life and such. When I worked at a group home, I worked at a teenage female group home. And I remember going for the interview, the woman saying, "All right, so you got the job." And I was like, "All right, so who lives here?" Like, they didn't mention anything in the interview. And it ended up being teenage girls that obviously were taken from their homes and that type of thing. This was an intense job. For anyone that works in a group home, especially in Rhode Island, you do handle with care, so you restrain. Every day going to this job was, as someone that went through trauma, that fight or flight, I had flight. So when you got two teenage girls going after each other in the kitchen, it's like you have to snap out of it and do something about it. So this had been going on so I started as per diem, then went to full-time residential counselor, and then got promoted to a case manager. So because of all the budget,
I was like, I didn't know what the quotes meant.
As a case manager, you would think would be great, but I was making fucking $11 an hour. It was bullshit. So I
not to have to deal with that to take home with you,
dude, and all the other managers
can't leave that at the door.
It was so bad. And I worked for people that were very so anyway, it was all behavioral kids because of budget cuts and stuff like that. So it was a lot. Every shift, it was like, what's going to happen today? How long am I going to sit at Butler Hospital with this kid, or go to Hasbro with this one? So I remember going on a vacation the week of my birthday. I took a vacation, and that entire week leading up to it, while on vacation, leading up to like that Monday when I was supposed to go back, it was like I was vomiting. I couldn't like focus on anything. All I could think about was that I had to go back on Monday. And I was like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. And I trusted myself to, put my concerns aside about what would happen if I quit. Like, I couldn't physically keep working there, mental health wise.
No.
Right. So I basically called in that, no, I did it Sunday night. And I was like, look, I can't come back. I was like, I just have
I'm sure they were shocked.
It was just so hard though, because you get so close with them. And I have had one kid there that I still think about every day. You know what I mean? And like what happened to her, because some of their stories and stuff, even that part of it was just so heartbreaking. And the fact that the court still wanted to put some of them back with the people that hurt them, because they want, to reunite family, and they, try to do counseling and all this stuff. It was just mentally draining, terrifying at times, going upstairs and this chick hucking a freaking, those big candles, like the God candles, hucking it right by my face, because she was fighting with the other girl, because they were like lovers or whatever was going on. Dude, literally. It was so intense. So I think that was one where I was so terrified to do it, but there was something inside me that was like, you have to do this. You'll find something.
The inner voice.
You have to do it. So that was definitely a turning point in my life.
Good. I know that the thing that you said. Okay, so I just kind of want to touch on just like a couple of things. Just because. So role models are supposed to be a resource to improve your self-esteem. Earlier, in your life, you could consider some people to, like, in my life, Lee was my role model, as she can attest, because I tried to be twinsies with her. And as you can see, although we are blood related. We look nothing alike. So like back then as a child, seeing things that I seen or heard, you know, she was the person that I looked up to, even though back then, not until we were adults did I realize everything that you were going through as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because, you know, just the chit chat that you hear like when the parents talk and stuff like that. So basically you do want to try to find role models, but you know, it's hard to, how do I explain this? I explained it to my mom one day. Basically, like, how do you, like the love thing, how do you imagine something you've never seen before?
Right.
It's the same way. Like, you know, my mom could be a positive role model because she got out of New Bedford, she made it here, she ended up interning, temping, and then getting, you know, having this great job for 20 years and stuff like that. But you know, role models are not always available.
Right.
Especially with a lot of kids homeschooling. So, and a role model can just be someone who leads you in the right direction. They don't have to be a perfect person. They can also be a work in progress as well. Because it mentions here, like, find a friend who has high self-esteem. And I'm like, I'll be looking for a while. Because, you know, birds of a feather flock together.
Right.
Got it this time.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did. So the other thing, I love this episode with self-esteem and you know, and a bad in the negative way is unhelpful thinking. And as this seems to be a reoccurring theme for us, you know, stopping bad thoughts before you can finish them or at least recognize them and move on is so important. They give like 50 examples here. I'm slacking on my PDFs, but I'm working on them and they will all be uploaded because these are just so important and I know that these will help people. But there are so many examples of distorted thinking that you wouldn't even think about. I know. So like filtering, for example, would be like, good things never happen to me. Labeling, I didn't do well, I'm stupid. Jumping to conclusions, he hasn't responded yet, he must be mad at me. Catastrophizing. Did you say that?
Sure.
Okay. For being so smart, bro, being out of school for a while, it really fucks you up. I'll never get married. That's one. Polarized thinking. I didn't get the promotion. I'm a failure. Magnification, the worst presentation, the audience didn't enjoy. Basically, mind reading, like she thinks I'm stupid. Fortune telling, I'm not going to get the job. Basically, these are all different words to say the same thing, like that you're always in the negative and you don't want to do that. So for counteracting that, you know, if you don't like something, change it. And if you can't change it, change your attitude about it. You know what I mean? Right. So that's how that goes. And then the one last thing. So for self-esteem in any form, what I found like with the challenge, which I'm still doing, is you know, you have to do 3 things you're grateful for every day and 3 positive affirmations. And I will tell you, like last night, I was probably crying on and off for like hours about whatever. And then I did my thing and you know, my notebook. And after I did that, you always feel better when you say things you're grateful for, or when you give yourself positive affirmations. And I'll also put a list of those up. But there's just like, these are their examples. I have my own. Like, you dedicate them to yourself, but until you can kind of figure out how to do positive affirmations, there's examples. So an affirmation can be, I can learn from my mistakes, practice over perfection. I can make a difference. I'm worthy of love. I am fortunate. I am courageous. I choose kindness. I believe in myself. Positive mind, heart, life. And you know, those are important because they'll keep you going. Like when you don't feel well, like believe what you're saying. Don't just say it, but believe it. So write things that are positive that you'll believe, or fake it till you make it, like we mostly do.
Yeah.
And just a couple inspirational quotes for anybody, just because when you come to the end of your rope, tie a knot and hang on. Oh. Do not miss those words up. Right.
I was like, what the fuck is she about to say?
No, that's inspirational. Don't mix that sentence up. I'll repeat it. When you come to the end of the rope, tie a knot and hang on. Not hang from, hang on. Sorry, sick sense of humor. Jesus Christ. I hope you live a life you're proud of, and if you're not, I hope you have the courage to start over again. You can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending. And I like that because of what we're doing right now. And you know, a lot of times with self-esteem and things, I don't know, I can't speak for Lee, but this is like a closing thought. You know, I always think that I'm not capable of things, that I'm not good enough for some things, and my ADHD plays a big part in that because of how unfocused I am, which leads to my anxiety and my depression and blah blah blah. And you know, it's, you want to find your way. So my positive affirmation a lot of times is like, you know, you will find your way. You will, you know, be successful in the way you're supposed to, and you know, things like that. And that can be difficult, but believe in yourself, because if you don't, who else is?
True that.
Well, people will believe in you, but it's more important if you believe in yourself.
You know what I tell myself as a positive affirmation? We've gone through worse.
Right.
You can do it. Don't you worry, girl.
You can do it. Yeah.
You got this. Your Saturday Starbucks is on its way. You got this. Sometimes it's so simple for me, but I can't do it as far as like the self-esteem, like the low self-esteem. Right. I can't touch that part of it. But as far as like work stuff and like, you know, helping my kids, it's, I'm confident with that stuff.
We'll start with those. Like, I'm a great mother. Whereas like mine are opposite. Like, I feel like my affirmation is like, I know I can be a better mother. I don't abuse my child. I just have ADHD as well as my son. So again, it's just that I feel guilty that I can't always be mentally present, even though I try. It's a process, but you know,
absolutely.
But at least I know that that's an issue, so I can work on it, and that affects my esteem as well, being a parent. But you know, I know that I am a great mother, but I know that there's areas I can improve. So
Yep. Keep working on it. Another day. Yep. That's all we could do.
Yep. So hopefully maybe tomorrow we can do the after dark one, just kind of see how it goes tomorrow night. If you want, maybe we'll figure that one out.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts?
Not really. Thanks everyone for listening and dealing with our random word F-ups and our random.
Yeah. We're not perfect, and we don't pretend to be.
Yeah. No.
And just one thing, just like, again, Suicide Prevention Month was in September, but it's October, but that needs to be something that is made aware of all year round. And, you know, just keep your head up. And if there's no one to talk to, we're here. We have that WhatsApp line. We both have emails. You know, we both have access to our general email. Don't be afraid to reach out. Like, we're here to help. We've been through the worst of the worst of the worst, and in the darkest of dark places, and you know, have almost not lived to be able to tell our stories. So just know that you're never alone, and when your self-esteem is low, just click on our website and watch a funny video. Yeah. So we will see you guys next time with more information on the boxes. Check out the website. By the time this is uploaded, everything should be ready to go. Put the PDFs, and if you have any questions, you just give us a shout out. I can't fucking talk. Whatever, Lee.
Yeah. All right, guys. Over and out.
Over and out. 10-4.